Okay. You're someone who likes to be creative and likes making stuff, like whether it be drawing or writing or filmmaking, photography, whatever. Just creative blocks are the absolute worst. This is the format of my videos. It's half script, half me talking in front of you, but 100% video, so so yeah, like it just sucks. I know that a lot of times I'll get into a good flow and I'll kind of just like, you know, make a video or make something that is like really like, I'm just like, yeah, like I feel motivated, the ideas are there, everything is coming to me, and it just flows so naturally. I'm like, I got the inspiration, I got the motivation, let's go. And afterwards, like I finish the product, I send it out, I'm like, ugh, I have no idea what to do the next day. And sometimes those slumps can kind of just like come for like, you know, a week, or sometimes it could be a lot longer. And I know that, especially now, drop my light. Okay, I'm gonna interact less with my desk. I feel like that's gonna really help. Okay, so minor setback. What was I talking about? I totally forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, creative blocks. See? A lot of times like these like, I think for me right now, I've been able to make a little bit more, especially on the YouTube end. But I know that for me, like in high school and everything, even a couple months ago, as recently as like a week ago, these creative blocks have kept being this massive hurdle between me and actually creating. So this is kind of just like a few tips that have helped me along my way. A few things that have kind of just, you know, giving me a little boost to deal with these creative blocks and still create things either way. I'm not some expert. This is a lot of personal experience and also what I've like learned from watching other YouTubers do. This is kind of just like a compilation of things that I've learned from experience, but also things that I've kind of compiled and are trying to apply for myself. So this is just as much of a list of tips for you as it is a list of tips for me. So yeah, so my first tip is kind of just allow for inspiration. A lot of times when I get a creative block, I'm fresh off an upload of posts, whether it be my Instagram, go follow JPEG, or my YouTube channel. But what a lot of time is like the creative process is very interesting in that it's something that's like, it's like, I don't know, I compare it a little bit to running. And I don't know, I'm just a big runner, so for me, this is the analogy that I draw. But a lot of times it's like, you have to allow for inspiration because after you work so hard on creating something, you like exhaust so much, but you need more coming in and stimulating your brain and getting these little things working and stuff. So a lot of times like, you don't allow for inspiration in the creative process, or like, you know, same for me too. But like, you know, you get things coming in, you let it marinate in here, and then you got nothing else coming in. Like if this was running, like I would be running a marathon, but I wouldn't be eating enough food or training enough to the point where I have the energy or capacity to put out a marathon. It's a similar process here. Like when I'm creating something and I get something out of the way, I have all of this inspiration that's built up and I get it out and I need to replenish that so that I have more things pondering, more things marinating in my head so I can develop actual thoughts and ideas to share with people. So that's kind of my tip for that. Really give yourself space to get inspired. How this looks is going to be very different for a lot of different people, but it's important to take in while you are also giving. So like, watch something, your favorite creator post something on YouTube, check it out. Listen to music. Inspiration comes from all different sources. So you can play around with all these different things. Because like, if you're making videos and your only source of inspiration is videos, yeah, that's good enough, but you're gonna need a lot more to diversify your diet, right? Going back to the running analogy, like, this is your mental creative diet that you're working with here, and so what you want to do is like have a wide variety of things to draw from. And even like the mundanity of, like, you know, if you're working at your job or working on schoolwork or high school or whatever, use that. There's gonna be moments from that are going to intrigue you or be interesting in some capacity, and those are moments and things that you can derive inspiration from, and get ideas and let things marinate and be like, yo, like, this interaction with this person was weird. It was kind of funny how awkward it was. Let me make a video trying to like mimic that energy or something. So there's a lot that you could do. A lot of writing comes from just your experience in the world, and a lot of art comes from the same thing. Like, you need to live in order to produce art, and you need to produce art in order to live. Ha ha ha. Yeah. But it's true. It's cheesy, but it's true. So that was another thing I was talking about. I was talking about like the creative diet, right? And how it like enters into your brain, and you let things marinate, and you come up with ideas so that you know what to say, which comes into tip number 2. These transitions, bro. I got you. But tip number 2 is like, figure out what you want to say and know what you want to say. And that's one of the trickier things for me. A lot of times when there's like videos I want to make, or things I want to talk about, or, you know, things I want to photograph, or like a story or something that I want to share, it has to come from what I'm thinking about or what I'm feeling. And a lot of times, like, I either under marinate or over marinate, right? So under marinate is like, you have a feeling about something, but you don't necessarily know how to execute it and flush it out, so that when you are like, blah, like, you're speaking, but you're just speaking nonsense. You're just kind of just like what's the word I'm looking for? Expelling just thoughts, ideas, maybe feelings that aren't really well formulated and well connected. So it feels like let's go blah, which could be its own form of art if you do it in a format like, even if you're like on Instagram, you can do like a post dump, or if you make a vlog that's like in that style of just like chaos, you could still work with that. But there's planning involved with that. You need to be able to process how you feel, process how you think, and really focus on kind of just getting it out in a form and in a way that's like a little bit more elaborated, a little bit more nuanced, I guess, if you want to take it to like a little bit more of a next level. So yeah, like, know what you want to say, and work on that. And what I was talking about earlier is like, you know, I either under marinate or over marinate, in the sense that like, I sometimes even, this could be tricky because you overthink about what you want to say, and you're just like, oh, like, I need to be mindful of everything else. And while it is good to be mindful, it's also good to share what's on your mind, and be able to verbalize that and express that in a way that you can, in the best way that you possibly can. On any level, there's going to be some sort of problem with what you are, you know, outputting. But you just got to know and have the self-awareness and be able to recognize that, okay, whatever this is, I'm open to sharing it, and also open to receiving criticism and feedback on how to make it better. In terms of like putting out a statement or putting out your opinion, you have to be able to recognize that sometimes what you're feeling or what you're thinking could be wrong. And you have to be able to open yourself up to that criticism. In the same way as it works with that, it also works with your creativity and what form you put out. Know what you're trying to say, but also be open to that feedback. And part of being open to that feedback is just not letting yourself over marinate on something too much and overthink it, and share it to the best of your ability. But then also know that whatever response comes out of that you'll be able to handle that response in a way that is a little bit more responsible? Responsible? Yeah, that's the word. In a way that's like, you know, like constructive. Obviously, if you don't get constructive feedback, then that's not constructive feedback. they're just hating on you. In which case you can like diss them off or something. But if it's something that's like, oh, like your editing is like kind of sus, I don't know how editing can be sus, but if your editing sus, then you like change this up here, and be like, alright, bet, I'll change it up there. That did look a little weird. So yeah, be open to that. At some point, something you do is not going to live up to your standards, or it's just going to objectively kind of be bad. It's kind of gonna suck. But in learning through that, you know, in learning through making that trash, just being able to recognize and be like, alright, like, yeah, this wasn't the best, but there's things that are still worth salvaging, and there are things that I could still take from this and move it onto my next project to make it better. And yeah, like the same thing applies for me. Like I make videos, I have 59 subscribers, I don't have a lot of people watching my videos or my content. And that's kind of for a reason. Like there's some of these videos are really long at parts, and you can't really like, I don't really grab that attention. So to that, that's an accurate criticism that I need to continuously be able to work on, and absorb and process, and it's part of the process of becoming better. If you're gonna do something, do it to the best of your ability, and then work on it and work from there. Tip number 4, but like I said earlier, drawing, photography, writing, anything else, that's kind of just like I don't know, with tip number 4 is like, do that creative thing, but do it for the fun of it. Like you picked it up for a reason, right? You picked up a camera for a reason. You picked up a pen for a reason. You picked up what are those painting things? A brush for a reason. So like that in and of itself sparks some interest, sparks some creative whatever for you. And a lot of times, like I was talking about, like overthinking it, just like, no, like do it for the fun of it, do it and enjoy it. Like what I was talking about earlier, like even with the feedback. Sorry, I need to drink some water. Dehydrated. Been talking a lot. Like the overthinking aspect of that is really true. Like you don't want to make it perfect because you can't make it perfect. And the more time you try making it perfect, the more it's gonna suck. And the more it's gonna suck for you because it's gonna be such a big toll on you creatively. So what you wanna do is like, hit this little middle ground, you know? Like know that obviously like it's not gonna be the best thing ever for like anything, and you're not gonna hit every single perspective, and still be open to the feedback and constructive feedback and criticism of your work. But also at the same time, don't let that be the driving factor of why you do something. At the end of the day, it's still you processing whatever thoughts, ideas, whatever, and verbalizing that in your work. And so if that process of verbalizing gets distorted in some way or stopped or hindered, then maybe like that's not worth it. So then just try to do it for the fun of it. Do it for the reason that you're doing it in the first place. If you picked up a camera and you like filming stuff and you like creating these different stories, then do it. Do it because you enjoy it. At the end of the day, obviously, like this is not assuming that you have a massive following or something. But even then, like if you do have a massive following and you do have all these different things, if you do have people who like are obsessing over your art and selling it in galleries or whatever, publishing a book, obviously you want to take that into consideration, the feedback and everything, but still at the end of the day, the core principle and the core guiding reason as to why you're doing what you're doing is to create, and is to share what you're thinking and share what is on your mind and what you feel. So don't really like, you know, preserve some of that in your work. Be mindful, be respectful, be open to feedback and criticism, but also at the same time, you know, be true to yourself and be true to the work that you want to put out. So in terms of putting out that work, putting out what you got to put out, make stuff. If you're not actually making stuff, you're not actually improving, you're not actually, you know, doing what you need to do. A lot of times, I know for me specifically, I'll spend a lot of time trying to make a video perfect, a lot of time trying to really like bring out some of the quality and like editing and all these different things in my videos, and that's not bad. That comes from a good place, But when that becomes a hurdle, I like hurdle better. When that becomes a hurdle to you creating on a more consistent basis, or creating when you would like to create, then that should be taken into consideration. Like, if you overthink everything that you work on, right? Like if you draw, or if you write and you overthink it constantly, you're not really living up to the core of you wanting to just make stuff and do it for fun. And part of that is just like, obviously, yeah, like, it's like constantly be on the grind, constantly make stuff. It doesn't always have to be just for like benefit or material gain or monetary gain. It's just create stuff to hone your skills and have fun with it. Like, with the repeated practice, you'll get better and you'll be able to have a better passion for it. It's about feeding your passions, right? So like, if you're doing something creatively, if you're doing something that requires time, work, effort, then put the work and put the effort into it to see it through, because ultimately there's going to be something better to get to. There's going to be another point where your art and your work and your creativity is going to be able to manifest itself in a level that is a lot better than when you started. And so constantly contributing to that process of getting better and making more art, better art, is about, doing that day in, day out. Again, I think of running because you start off at this one point and then you continuously run and you do it like a day in, day out activity, and eventually you get abs and you get core, and abs are the same thing. But you get stronger and you're able to run faster, you're able to run harder, which only then contributes into this feedback loop of you being able to further develop in your journey. So keep creating, keep making stuff, and keep contributing to whatever it is that you enjoy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, there's a lot of different things that play into it. I was trying to be a little bit more general. I was trying to be a little bit more encompassing of a whole wide variety of creative processes. Not everybody's creative process is gonna look the same. It's all something that is like, unique to your circumstance, your creative workflow, and how you think as a person. Honestly, I feel like this is just more of a self-reflection than anything else, but I don't know, hopefully you were able to take something out of this. But yeah, again, hopefully you took something out of this, and yeah, just take it easy, create whatever you're gonna create, and I hope you have a good time doing so. See you next time, or see you later. I usually say see you later. I'm still learning how to say, like, finish these videos and stuff, so my endings are gonna be kind of rough. Bear with me.